So I have a problem when I describe something or someone's appearance using many successive adjectives in one sentence. I get confused which adjective should be the first and which one should be the second, etc. I have read once that they should be ranked in alphabetical order. That is definitely not true, but let's talk about the proper order of adjectives. And I need to grab my notes here because a native speaker will not know this unless he or she looks it up, because it's a bit arbitrary. There are some books that claim to have a specific order, but I don't necessarily agree with that order. Let's look into a little bit more detail here. I'm going to grab something. You'll see that I have a sentence here. Well, not a sentence. I have a phrase. I've got a noun phrase describing some spoons. And I've followed what you will find in a book as far as the proper order of adjectives. So let me break this down for you. Maybe I'll even add it here. So according to my research, the proper order of adjectives should be quantity, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and finally, purpose. So I've followed these rules with 7, we've got our quantity, ugly, opinion, large, size, 10-year-old, age, shape, I forgot the shape. Let's add in round, shall we? We'll say round, silver, Japanese, that's our origin, material, metal, soup spoons. The purpose is soup. They're not, I don't know, what else? Cereal spoons, for example. So this is fine, right? If I were to describe these spoons to you, this would certainly sound fine to my native ear. I would like 7 ugly, large, 10-year-old, round, silver, Japanese, metal soup spoons. And when I say it would sound fine, I mean, if we have to use all of these adjectives, I would accept this, I guess. The problem here is nobody will ever use this many adjectives to describe something unless they're trying to be silly. We don't use more than 3 or 4 adjectives at a time for the most part. So that's my first problem with this order of adjectives things. But let's break this down a little bit more because we've got 7 ugly, large, round. Yeah, so some of these I definitely feel like we could move around. Let's see what we can't move around. I certainly agree with purpose coming before, because the purpose is not just an adjective, it forms the compound noun. A spoon is a spoon, but a soup spoon is a type of spoon. So that purpose that gets latched on is actually a part of the noun phrase. So that definitely needs to come right before. Similarly, the quantity. You'll notice that I didn't even put a comma after 7 because it's not acting in the same way as the adjectives here. The quantity is separate, so that definitely needs to come first. When we start getting into the adjectives themselves, though, that's when things get sticky, because I feel like I could say 7 large, ugly, 10-year-old, silver, round, metal, Japanese. At this point, I feel like we could really move a lot of stuff around, and it's not gonna sound weird. Let's see. Let's try messing with this. And I'm gonna try to use a more realistic example. So I'll just use like 4 adjectives. I'll use 3 adjectives plus the quantity and the soup. So instead, if I said like 7, round, 10-year-old, metal Japanese soup spoons. So I'm following the rule of keeping the soup right before, 7 right after, but I've switched all this other stuff around. 7 around, 10-year-old metal Japanese soup spoons. It still is kind of a mouthful, like there's too many adjectives, but I've broken the rules and it doesn't sound bad. So I wouldn't worry about the order of adjectives that much. As long as you stick to the origin right before your noun, and then quantity needs to come first, for sure. But other than that, it's really gonna depend. I wish I had a clearer answer for you, but English is messy. And I want you to notice that I said Japanese soup spoons. I didn't put a comma after Japanese because I'm now noticing that I feel like Japanese is also part of the compound noun here. Japanese soup spoons. It's a type of spoon. So, I don't know. Just some more insight for you. I hope that was actually helpful and not just confusing, but that's the way it is.